Hello, and welcome back to the Spider Lair. I'm Spider, of course, and on this channel, we like to take a prompt and then make a character based off the prompt. And last week went pretty creature heavy, and I thought we would just continue that theme. Creatanuary? Is that? Anyway. Maybe Franco can help me. I've got Franco here. Franco, say hello.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, how do you say it? Creatanuary?
I'm not sure. It's one of those things that you've seen written, but you don't really know how to
Mm-hmm.
say. Yeah,
Right.
and I think that's fine. Like creationary, creationary. I'm not sure.
That sounds like a creature dictionary. Which, that fits. But anyway, we're going to add something to the creature dictionary today. We're going to do a murderous snow beast. And yeah, let's just jump right into it. Oh, wait, hold on. Full stop. I forgot pronouns. Mine are they, them. What are yours?
Oh, hey.
All right, let's go ahead and start this footage. All right, so for whatever reason, and I probably shouldn't have done this, no regrets, I guess. For some reason, when we picked the prompt Murderous Snow Beast, I decided that I was gonna put the added secret challenge of not drawing hair or blood to convey that. And that was, I guess you be the judge on whether that was a mistake or not. Made things very hard for myself for no reason. I just wanted to see if
I
I could do it. So,
seriously enough, I thought of that. I was like,
mm-hmm.
I don't want to be I don't want to be basic, so so I'm gonna try to not do like a jetty looking thing, and then we'll see how that turned out.
Right. I decided I'd do a more of a quadruped,
Mhm.
and I resolved that the only way I could convey any of this without blood or fur was to do an ice texture, which I did not know how to
Mhm.
do. I just kind of learned that from scratch. I watched a few videos and sort of mixed and matched until I assessed and sussed out how to do it. They were varying degrees of helpful. So
Mhm.
here I'm just going in and delineating where all of the edges are. I decided that they were going to be, if they were made of ice, they'd be obviously magical. So I wanted to have like a magical power source inside of them, some sort of ice magic, as if an ice golem. And I wanted to make sure there were human remains and skulls and things scattered
Mhm.
throughout that you could see in the ice, which is
Yeah.
really hard to achieve. And you watch me struggle with it for a long time. Yeah, like little piles of bones and things. And I imagine that when this creature eats a person or murders them, whatever, they become more giant. Adds more bones to
Ooh,
the pile. So that was my ongoing fiction. I
that's
just
good. Very
really
much.
wanted to do. Oh, thank you. I really wanted to do this. I had the idea for the head first, where it was the eyes of the creature were still in the front and coming out of skull eyes. And I'd also like gotten really into watching Cynic's most recent video about making skulls, and so I just felt very compelled to draw as many skulls as possible. I was really
Uh-huh.
feeling it. Oh, here's a weird thing about rendering ice. Okay, you know how when something in ambient light, I guess, okay, but appendice one, it's in ambient light.
Mhm.
You are like to show that something has volume and make that more believable, it kind of like fades into the line layer. It almost has like a dark edge around it a
Yeah,
little
I made
bit.
an
Okay,
occlusion.
so with ice, what you do is you still have to make that value technically darker in an overall sense, but when it comes to ice, the closer you are to the edge of it, the more condensed the surface is getting, so it's gonna get tonally like lighter.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes
so
sense.
so it's like all ice is like there's something going on in the shadow, you can see through it, but in the places where the light is hitting, it's either like one stark color or it's obscured or it's like not see through, it's like opaque. And so it's just really just kind of making random loopy shapes that are connecting, like as you would imagine maybe branches coming off of a tree. And I don't think I was very design heavy with them. I think if I was to try this again, I would make those more intentional. Right now, I was just kind of putting them wherever. I feel like I have to make this into an apology video to you, because we were talking one time and you were like, You know how when you're just drawing and it just happens and you just kind of get up from
Oh
it
my
and it's
god.
done? And I was like, Franco, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I thought about it later and then was talking to like Owen about it on actually a different episode. And we've talked about the exact same thing and then it made sense to me. And I was like, oh, oops, I gotta like send Franco a card or something.
What was that all about? Because I remember
Mm-hmm.
that exchange, but I don't remember exactly what what I said or what was my point there.
Oh, you were saying that drawing kind of just happens in a mindless state and you sort of get up from doing it and then it's done. It's almost like you get up, you don't even
Mhm.
feel like you made it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
When when Owen worded it that way, I was like, "Oh, yeah, no, I do feel like that." Cuz I'll stand up and be like, "I don't know how I did that. I couldn't explain how I just did that to somebody." And I think maybe expand on that a little bit to where I think was maybe we were having miscommunication was there's technically thought in the process of laying out the basic, like where the shadows are going to go, where's
Mhm,
the light and dark, in a
mhm.
very general, broad sense, shadow shapes, doing things almost like this is the light area, this is the dark area, right? The whole
Yeah.
painting like sculpted thing. And then once you've done that, the rest is rendering. Like rendering just renders itself. Like you don't
Yeah.
have to do anything. It's mindless. So I was just mindlessly making that
Yeah.
ice and I was having so much fun. Like it was
That is
very fun.
that is that is beautiful, and that is that I think that kind of like condenses my point on that exchange. If I remember
Yes.
correctly, I don't know that, but yeah, all I was saying I think is, or at least all I'm saying now
Mm-hmm.
is that yeah, that's flow, and flow is just that, you know, like you get into a state that you don't really know what's going on. You don't, and not us, like nobody has any idea what this whole thing is about, what this whole art thing is about. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you can put names to it, you can put stuff, but ultimately, uh, how like a group of atoms moves stylus across the surface and gives that meaning is that's a mystery, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Cause
you can say you think about it, and I mean,
mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's a lie by any stretch of the imagination, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we think about it all the time, right? But to claim that you know what's going on between you and that surface on the moment that that's happening, I think that's a stretch. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
That does, because there's a magic happening that there's no way. It might as well be like explaining a feeling. I think Bjork is the one who said trying to explain to somebody how you feel is like trying to drink the ocean through a straw or something like that, or fit the ocean through a straw. It like
Mhm,
it's not gonna happen. It defies us. I think
mhm.
people try to make sense of the world around them, and it is a pursuit worth doing. And I think you should always look at it like it's a horizon that you can't reach. Like you should try to walk towards it, but it's always receding. Because I think the journey of trying to understand it is very fruitful. But as soon as you get
Hey,
into a mindset of like, no, I know what's happening, it's
uh-huh.
like you don't. There's too many things at play. Like
Yeah.
there's no way you can
I think
know that.
it can get
Like
very painful. It can get
yeah.
very painful if you start saying to yourself, if you start telling yourself that you know what's going on so that you have an easier time, and you will have an easier time for a time, you know.
Right.
If you're like, oh yeah, I know what's going on, and you play that game and you pretend to know for a little bit, you will have an easier time. But when it comes back to bite you and you realize, oh, I don't know anything, like your whole belief system is gonna be shattered, and that's you're not gonna have a fun time then, you know, when you realize you don't know anything.
I think people don't want to question something that they quote unquote know, right? Like they want to just
Mhm.
stay in their belief, the whole it's more comfortable thing. Because as soon as you start tugging at the strands of the sweater, everything starts unraveling. And then you're back to nothing. And then you're a baby again. Like, you know what I mean? You're just back to knowing nothing. You're like, well, now I have no sweater. Now it's just a pile of yarn. Okay, well, what's the best way to make the sweater? And you make a new one. And then you're like, oops, I didn't paste
It's
that
not
off like
about
a good thing either. Like, it
yeah.
just but it's worth it to just keep destroying and remaking sweaters, I guess is
Oh,
what I'm
it's totally
saying.
worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it. I've been I mean, I've read books. I mean, wow, I've
I've
read books.
I've I don't know if you know this better, but I've read books.
I read a book. That's what I meant to say. And
Whoa.
one of
Get this
the
man a diploma.
one of like the points on the whole story. It was a fantasy story, right? That was the one of the more like recurring themes was journey before destination, and I think
Hmm.
that's a beautiful it's a beautiful thing, right? Like, and Cynics talks about that a lot, and other artists too, right? Like
Hmm.
the the joy that they get out of art is not so much in the final result, but in the process. And at least I've recently been listening to some psychology lectures and sort, and one of the things psychologists point out is that people are very infatuated with the results of their actions,
Hmm.
and that is not a great way of living. A more productive way of going about your life is being or focusing on your actions, being invested
Hmm.
in your actions and on what those actions are, and not so much on the result of those actions. Because at the end of the day, the result is just a tiny part of it. The vast majority of what you're experiencing is the action itself, right?
Right.
So it only makes sense for you to actually be invested and motivated by the action, not the result.
I
It's like
really like how you said that. Yeah, yeah. That's something I've been trying to articulate for a while now, I think.
I think I think again it can be very painful if you don't. Like imagine if you were to become a pro piano player, right? And the
Hmm.
only motivation that you had was being able to play X piano piece very very well, right?
Hmm.
Like, are you really gonna like like is that like shallow motivation really gonna carry you all the like 2 decades that it takes for you to be like a monster playing piano,
Right.
right? Like, or is that really gonna do it, or is it a better motivation or a more or wiser motivation to be like, okay, let's just have fun with this. Let's just have fun with the process of learning to play. And I think that ties up beautiful into art, right?
Hmm.
Like is the whole purpose of this whole thing to one day be able to draw like a X master or be your own master or whatever, or is there more worth in the journey itself, into being a student and not knowing, having to figure it out on your own, and
Hmm.
crying in bed at night because you don't know, and you have to, and it's really hard and you have to figure it out. Like that's valuable, and that's more valuable than whatever's at the other side, you know?
It's very difficult to find peace with the fact that the more you know, like the more questions that are answered, the more questions there are in total. Like if
Yeah.
you go to seek out an answer, you're just going to find more questions. And that is, I think, what's scary to people about going out of that comfort zone
Yeah.
again, like again to go back to that. It's just very difficult to feel like a baby, like you just like you
Yeah.
don't know anything,
Uh,
like
uh,
because then people are going to ask you, what do you think about
mhm.
this? It's like if I was to sum up the answer to every question in my mind, it would be uh accept the fact that you're not going to know everything, make peace with that, and also, to your point earlier, and my favorite point, my favorite life lesson that I like, my mantra every day is that happiness doesn't exist outside of me. So reaching a goal and being a goal oriented person is like delaying, like there's not that I'm not trying to say it's an objectively bad thing, but if you're delaying your happiness until you reach that certain point, you're just delaying your happiness for no reason. And
Yeah.
sometimes what you're seeking from completing the goal, whatever that might be, because it feels good for other people to recognize your art, to get recognition, to get told that you're good at it, and things
Hmm.
like that. But there are people who reach that level, have a lot of followers, or they get a lot of money, or they climb Mount Everest, and they get really, really depressed afterwards
Oh yeah.
because they're like, oops, happiness wasn't here.
Yeah.
It didn't come from doing this, like,
Yeah.
and you are hit with the realization that it does not exist externally.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I
exist
saw.
in validation, it doesn't exist in achieving a goal. It's happiness is in you or it's nowhere.
Yeah. I saw a fragment of a, I think it was a Jim Carrey interview once,
Hmm.
and and he said like that on that fragment he said that I hope for something along the lines of, I hope for everyone to achieve their wildest dreams, everything that they want, so that they can realize that that's not it,
Hmm.
you know. And that really resonates with me, and I think think what you said is, like true to that too, right? It's not about achieving your wildest dreams. It's the achievement itself. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's not about that's not gonna give you the happiness that you want. And
Yeah.
it's I mean it's hard to live with that, It's hard to live with that realization.
Yeah, and that also goes back to the trying to be your own boss as an artist thing, is that until you've lived that in the tangible and found joy in doing that, if you find yourself chasing your dream and you find that the steps to get there, like you're gonna reach adversity. That's just how life is. Like there's going to be
Mhm.
challenges. You're going to have to compromise this,
Yes.
that, the other thing.
Yeah.
But if overall you're not enjoying the process, if you've tried it out for a while and you're like,
Yeah.
oh shoot. And I think some people also reach that wall when they've been drawing a long time, to where like when they sit down to draw, it makes them miserable. And I don't have the heart to tell people because they're not ready to hear it. Maybe it's just not for you, love. Like maybe you just don't do it.
I
Like go do something
I
else.
think
Like just do this for fun. Don't
I
chase it if it's not fun for you. Like,
I wholeheartedly believe that there is a way out of that because I've
Oh,
been there. I've been
excellent.
yes.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, good news, yeah, right? Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Let's hear your
also I
secrets.
used to well, I was in depression like a couple months ago.
Hmm.
Uh yeah, I was not having fun with her. It was feeling miserable. It was feeling truly miserable.
Yeah.
And by the way, if anyone that's watching this is feeling miserable with her, please do yourself a favor and go watch Steven Zapata. Please. Just
Oh,
do it.
yes. It's like chicken soup for the artist's soul.
Yeah, please, just do it, Just go. You'll thank me later. You'll thank him. But yeah, I like his videos helped me a lot, right? And I got out of it in a way, right? Like I
Hmm.
found, and I was very afraid, very very. I was terrified because I was like, dude, I've been investing in this since I didn't even know what I wanted to invest in.
Right.
Like before I had any option or say into what I wanted to do, I was doing this, through circumstances.
Hmm.
And now I'm 20 and I have no idea what I would do if I didn't. 20 is not a big number, but still,
Hmm.
my whole life, this is the only thing that I know how to do. What if it's like you said? What if it's not for me?
Right.
What if this is just a futile effort and all I'm doing is like delaying the the inevitable, realization that this is just that if I keep doing this, I'm just going to be miserable for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
But thankfully, I don't. That's optional. You don't have to feel that way. It's like it's really up to you how you feel about your art, and it doesn't need to be miserable. It really doesn't. It's
How'd you get out of it? Like if you were feeling
a lot
miserable
of
one moment, did you
a
just
lot.
by reframing it, or what do you mean?
Oh yeah, a lot of introspection, a lot of looking at myself and how I put things into perspective. A lot
Hmm.
of rearranging thoughts and saying like stuff like that, right? Like, well, what's more important in art, like the result or the journey? And I was not okay with being bad at art. I was not okay at all with being bad
Oh,
at art.
you gotta go over that, bud. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
anybody watching, anybody
yeah,
like the 6 people that are gonna watch this, like, oh my god, don't, please stop focusing on whether it's good or bad. That's so subjective.
yeah.
There's a place for every kind of art. It
Yes.
doesn't have to be monetized. Well, I still don't have very many followers. My art is super unmarketable. I don't care. Like I don't care if it's bad. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I had fun making it.
The
You know.
and again, that goes back to like wanting to help people and not
Hmm.
being able to show them, because now that I'm over it, I just want to yell at people. Okay, you don't have to suffer with this thing. You don't have to. And I just want to tell them and yell at them because I
Shake
see
them.
people suffering all the time, and I'm like, dude, okay, I'm suffering too, but we don't have to. Like
Yeah.
you and I can hold hands and be happy and not have to suffer with our art and not have to be miserable and enjoy ourselves.
Hmm.
And I can't do that. It's so painful that I cannot do that. You know,
Well, okay, so moral of the story is that, if you're suffering with your art, just Franco will come over and he'll hold your hand.
I will. I
Franco,
will.
where can people find you online so that they can virtually hold your hand
If you,
whenever
if you have a
possible?
Discord, just reach out. And I will literally just talk to you about whatever you want. I will listen to your art pain. I'll take it all in.
Okay.
For
Uh,
free. It's fine.
all right. I
You
guess we're
know.
just going to link your socials down below.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna give you Franco's Discord handle below, and yeah, just reach out to him personally. He'll definitely look at it. But you know, whether he responds or not is a completely different story.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that.
He's very hot or cold. Yeah, you gotta just the right way. Yeah, I had to grab him as he was running by to like be able to get him on the show. So yeah, thank you for watching. We hope any of this rambling made sense, and yeah, tell the nice people goodbye.
Goodbye.